Welcome back, grade 7 and 8, to another one of our science fair videos. This one talking about materials list. Now, maybe it's just because I'm making this video while I'm also a little bit hungry. But those blueberries are those blueberry muffins are looking really good. And so I think I'm going to talk a little bit about how to make blueberry muffins. Forget the science video, we're just going to talk about baking muffins instead. No, we're not going to skip the science video, as much as some of you might have been excited as soon as I said that. Shame on you. We are going to talk about baking muffins, but as a way to better understand material lists, or the materials list for our science fair project. The material list is all of the stuff, all of the items, the things that you need in order to do your experiment. So for example, let's actually just write out the ingredients for if I were to make these particular muffins. So let me write out the ingredients list here for these muffins. Let's see, first I would need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I would need 3 teaspoons of baking powder. I would need half a teaspoon of salt. I would need 3/4 cup of white sugar. I would need 1 egg. I would need 1 cup of milk. And I would also need about 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. So those would be my main ingredients that are here. And the ingredients for a recipe is the same thing as the materials list for your experiment. And let's take a look at some of the similarities actually here between the two. So if you were to bake something or make something or cook something and you were to start off with that ingredients list, there's a couple of key things that actually connect really well also with science fair. One is you'll notice we have amounts here. Very clear amounts as to what we're using and how much we're using of that particular item. So 2 cups, 3 teaspoons, half a teaspoon, 3/4 of a cup. Those measurements are specific pieces of information, and depending on your project, you will want to also include specific measurements as well. And so that might mean making sure to measure some of your stuff before you start your project so that you can accurately display that on your materials list. Another thing is you'll notice that we are specific in some of these examples. All-purpose flour. I could have even gotten more specific and said the specific brand of flour that we are using. Now, an ingredients list, they keep things a little bit general because people might be using all sorts of different brands of flour, but you want to include the exact material that you used. So if you know the brand of all-purpose flour that you used, include it. Now, you might not know the brand of salt. The brand of salt might not matter, but if it's sea salt compared to table salt compared to some other sort of salt, Himalayan pink salt, that might actually matter. So you might want to include that. 1 egg is helpful, but is that a small, medium, large, or extra large egg? We might need more information. 1 cup of milk, does it matter if it's skim milk, 1% or 2%? It might. And so we want to be specific in our materials list. But the materials list is a detailed, step-by-step list of the materials that you needed for your experiment. So you don't need to say, I needed a display board to display my experiment. It's what you needed to carry out the experiment itself. Now, some of you might have just 1 or 2 things on your material list, and that's okay. Some of you might have 15, and that's okay. A longer materials list or a shorter materials list doesn't make for a better project. It just means you needed more or less things to do it. But make sure you're including all the things that you have used.